more, Zach, with Kevin and the gang?
Y'all in that Big 16 or whatever y'all play in that y'all call Big 10.
I was going to say they don't get none of the numbers right.
They can't count, can they?
Well, what they did was the standings are reversed from football, so all the basketball schools are at the bottom.
Well, they fired their coaches.
Tell you, this that somebody was.
Heck yeah, buddy, he could play.
Somebody
He
said,
lit
good.
Carolina.
Randolph
up.
Childress.
remember this man, and I'll tell people as long as I live, that's the most dangerous man that Carolina ever
Well,
played.
no, him or Lynn Bice.
I wasn't old enough for
Yeah,
that.
Lynn
Yeah,
Bice
it's
lit
4 hour
them up.
time.
Childress, we couldn't stop him. It didn't matter who.
Well, Lynn
Randolph
Bice,
Childress
we
didn't
think
miss
Childress
nothing.
was tough. Watch the Lynn Bice when he lit Carolina up.
I thought Childress would go in the NBA and kill people.
I did. I thought he did too.
And he didn't, but good grief, he killed Carolina back in the day. It
Sure
just
did.
wasn't-
Him and Tim Duncan.
My sister,
Together.
my sister weightlifted with them when she was in school at Wake.
Yes.
Yeah, we should be. Why?
Well, that's good. Ohio State has Purdue
That's what
today.
I'm
I'm sure that one's going to go well.
Ohio State what?
Ohio State hosts number 2 Purdue today. That's going to go well.
Hey, y'all are paying a coach $14 million not to coach you now.
Well, I mean, how many schools do that? I mean, just like didn't they have to do that to Dabo at Texas A&M for football? Didn't they do that for not Dabo?
Jimbo.
Wrong boat.
They did.
Rombo.
They did that at Florida State for him too, right? That man's made more money not
coach. Well, I sincerely, I hope to your Buckeyes. I wish Chris Holtman the best. Chris is legitimately a good guy, and I hope he gets picked up somewhere.
He is, but in January, the last 2 years, it's just been meltdown.
Yeah.
I think last year they lost 15 of 16.
That's not me saying that. I understand Ohio State's frustrations.
No, but
again.
a lot of people knew him, Chip, from his Gardner Webb days, and everybody who talks about him says he's a great guy.
Yeah.
You know and they talk about his better half all the time too. I guess I've never seen her, but she was a sight to see. I guess some of the Gardner Webb alum talk about it. But I'm just sorry that it didn't work out because I think he was a good guy. But you can't lose. You can't have meltdowns in January 2 years in a row at a major university.
I mean, he was there for 7 years, man, and he never got him out of the first weekend of the tournament. It's just that they've got that people who know Thad, they're not going to be satisfied with that.
And they've had in history, I think they've had like 10 Final Fours.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they just not.
I wish him the best. I hope he's picked up somewhere else, but I understand
will.
Ohio State's
He
frustration.
will.
The same thing is them to North Carolina State. Keats in his last year, and the same thing there. He's never got the state past the first round.
What is this fool doing?
Good gracious, what's going on there?
That's Buzz Williams calling timeout.
Well, sometimes you got to get the attention
we
of the
talked about
official.
they don't listen sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get out there and get their attention. He might have got a tech for that.
He did.
That's what I said.
He's teeing him on self. Look, he's like, give me a tech, baby. Give me a tech.
I need a timeout.
He didn't care. Just blow the whistle. This is Vols ball either way.
Boom.
Blow the whistle. Somebody.
And it wasn't like he didn't have time. It's over 6 minutes.
That's what I was.
to go.
Exactly what I was looking at. I'm like, that was a little odd for
Yeah, it's not like there were
that
6
much
seconds
time on the
left.
clock. But he was trying to make a point.
He was mad about something. Obviously.
He probably got ignored on a timeout earlier. But I'm just gonna tell you, I've seen these high school coaches, man. I mean, I understand the frustration with the refs, but it's just kind of like the proximity. Like when I'm in soccer, like I'm in the middle, so they can't just like get up in your face and scream. But like the basketball coach is right there on the court.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So it's a little bit different. Like when you're a soccer linesman, that you're within striking distance, but a lot of times still you're like 40 yards away from him. But in basketball, I mean, like you're right there. And as he runs back down the court, Terry, how they do the rotations. You're eventually going to run by the bench. I'm just going to take it. I watched one, and I think our coaches do a good job, but I watched one get about 2 inches away, and it was like, boop. You just can't do that. You got to rein
There's
it
not much
in.
room over there. One thing real quick as far as that goes, 2 questions. Why does the NBA, shouldn't they have better bench area for their players instead of little folding chairs? These are $10 to $20 million players, and they're sitting on the smallest of all the chairs in the building. They have the worst seat.
I'm surprised
They're
that
all sitting in little folding chairs. Phil Jackson was like, "I ain't doing this." He had his office chair out there rolling around.
I'm surprised they didn't. The players aren't negotiating that in their contracts.
Correct. At least give them something that they can sit on a little more comfortable and bigger instead of squeezing in there all together like that. That's weird to me. The colleges, they've got room. The high schools have no room on the sidelines. You're usually, you're just using your bleacher benches and everything. In the colleges,
They bring out folding chairs in high school.
some places. It just depends. But I just always thought it was weird that you got your $1 million basketball players either laying on the ground down there or sitting on those little folding chairs. They can't design anything a little bit bigger, better. Tom, I just can't believe what we're about to watch. And this isn't surprising me.
That was
Tom.
last year, was it?
This
Tom?
isn't surprising me. And this is how people state do. Look at this violence. Look at this violence from state. Assault. Hurting players out on the court.
Wow.
I think it was last year's.
I don't know when it was.
I believe it. Well, I remember watching a game and I'm like, really?
That was another
we allowed that?
That's Taquan Smith.
I was
That's
just
last
Yeah, I was like,
year's.
we
liking
allowed that?
State's-
I was
Yeah.
watching that game live.
Yeah, you got a tag
If I was being guarded by
did
somebody
State
at
guy get
Duke,
a
I'd do
tag?
the same thing.
for flopping.
Yeah,
Yeah.
couldn't have happened to a nicer school.
Oh goodness. All right, this isn't college basketball, but it is college. So, well, it is basketball. Yes, it is basketball. Sorry, I'm sorry. So I'm going to play this. This is Oklahoma State basketball coach talking name, image, and likeness. Zach, hit the button, sir. And now.
Recruiting's never been a challenge until recruiting became not recruiting anymore. Like what I had to do to get Cade Cunningham here was way more difficult than what it takes to get players on campus now. It's not even the same thing. It took 4 years of making sure I was there more than Bill Self and making sure I was there more than Roy Williams and making sure I was there more than all these other coaches who had national championships and Final Fours and all these NBA guys. I had never coached a guy in the NBA as a head coach. I hadn't coached an NCAA tournament. But over time, the relationship mattered enough that he believed that I was going to do the right thing by him. I can't work that hard anymore. Not when you can say, here's $500,000 to come spend 9 months over here. I like you, coach, but I might get hurt this year, man. And all you got is a scholarship for me. And I still got to give those books back at the end of the year.
They make them give their books back, Tom.
Doesn't surprise me.
That was Oklahoma State coach talking a little bit about the NIL stuff with them.
I mean, it's changed it forever, but coaches changed it first with multi-million-dollar coaches, and then using all the football money to modernize this or that and pay administrators. How much are college administrators making?
Oh, not
You know,
much.
I mean, it's just. Yeah, how much? Well, how much does a guy get paid to walk around in a suit and I mean, so I'm saying, I mean, they're making stupid amounts of money, and this kid's going to get in trouble for getting a tattoo at a stupid.
Do you want to have somebody out there that wants to complain? And y'all have heard my views about NIL. Don't have an issue with it. But if you've got somebody out there who wants to make the argument for the purity of amateurism, that's perfectly fine. But the last people who need to be making that argument are Power 5 head coaches.
Yeah, there's no way that Nick Saban needs to complain. It's like, well, Nick, why don't you set the example? Why don't you coach for the value of a scholarship, which is $30,000 a year?
Yeah.
Why don't you coach for $30,000 a year? He's probably going to call you, an effing moron, right?
You know,
But
Tom,
I'm just saying.
You make a really good point.
I mean, that's what I'm saying.
What if the president of the school would go to Lane Kiffin or Nick Saban and said, you know what? We have all these educators here. You could get your doctorate in 17 different things while you're here.
Yeah.
And not a single one of them has ever taken a class while at one of these universities, have they? That I know of. I don't never remember seeing, Nick Saban got his degree.
I mean, you
They
can't.
go back and say, Anton Jameson got his degree.
I'm not
On
saying-
top of their coaching responsibilities, they'd be like, I can't do that. I'm a coach full time.
And
So your athletes need to go to can't go to class at the same time.
See, but I'm not saying like I don't fault. Like if somebody said, Tom, we're going to pay you $10 million to come to our school. Well, I'm
I'll
probably
be
going.
there.
Yeah. Let me sign the dotted line.
But at the same time, then if Terry comes there, I'm not going to say, well, why should he get $10 million? Well, you know why he wants $10 million? Because look at what you're getting. I mean, it's just, they're not paying Nick Saban to catch a football. I mean, he's not the one that people come to watch, right? I mean, they come to watch the kids. So
Or he's not the one putting his body on the line.
I'm just saying, yeah, you're right, Chip. I mean, it's just stupid. I'm not, and like I said, when you come down to strategy, well, they huddled up so they beat us. I mean, you've got to have some talent. I don't know what you tell these kids to get them to come there. I don't know what he tells a kid like Waddle, go out there and play on a broken leg. That is a gift that he has to motivate people, to get them to do stupid stuff, in my opinion. But
Well,
at the
in
same,
college,
but at the
if
same
you
time, don't try to act like he's a strategist.
In college, though, you
know?
can take their scholarship away if they don't play.
Right.
So there is a threat. There is a threat. Like,
Yeah, but
if you don't play with that broken leg,
but then,
you're not on my team.
but
next
then
year.
they
There
talk
goes your
about
scholarship.
how like they think genius in one thing is genius in all. That's a mistake that a lot of people
Right,
make.
correct.
I mean, he's not a
100%.
genius strategist. He's a genius motivator of 18 to 25-year-old kids to get them to run through. I mean, whatever he tells them, he needs to write a book on that. I'll give him that.
Ask the NFL ownerships about if you're successful in one line of work, if that makes you successful in all lines of work.
Right, but don't
Terry,
sit here and tell me he can coach an NFL team, because he's not the strategist. You see what I mean? When the talent's equal, now you need to be a strategist. That's not what he is.
All right, Terry, I'm going to ask you, since you're a State fan. I'm trying to find. Oh, I made the comment. Sorry. There is talk in Chapel Hill. UNC has formed a working group to explore Smith Center renovation options, in addition to considering the possibility of a new arena. Are they out of their minds as far as considering the possibility of a new arena?
Chapel Hill?
Yes.
They do not need one.
I remember when they opened the Dean Dome in the 80s.
That's what I'm saying. They do not need one.
So for anyone that doesn't know, real quick, let me pull it up. Let me give
the girls still play at Carmichael.
Yeah, they do.
Well, right.
Yeah.
Like Tom, there's 22,000 seats in that stadium. That's bigger than the Charlotte Hornets arena. Okay, the Charlotte Coliseum was 23,000. They've slightly reduced it a few years. It might be down to like 21, 20 right now because of they put big screens in the corners. They used to not have any big screens. They had it down in the middle. You know, the scoreboard in the middle, hanging in the middle. Then they moved them to the corners up in the top. The complaint is, the problem is that student sections traditionally in Chapel Hill, because there's 23,000 seats, all of the people who buy tickets, Tom, are in the lower level. And the upper level is where they stick to students. But so they don't have no lower level student section. So if you look down here in the bottom left, they basically kick the band out and move the student sections down there where the bands are, and move the band back a little bit and whatever. But they made room for some students there at the bottom of one side of the court, but the rest of them are in the upper deck. So that's the argument. They want a better student section and luxury boxes, because they don't actually have luxury boxes. They have open air club seats is basically what they have. Have you been in there and walked around any time?
Yeah, it's been a long time.
So you walk in on the main level, and you walk up the steps. You're in the second level. It's almost exactly like Charlotte Coliseum for the most part, except there's not a second level to walk on once you get up there. But there's rooms and stuff. The basement area is got all kinds of things down in it. The history of that building, named Dean Smith Center, there's no problems with it as far as I know, other than, Terry, they wanting to sell some luxury seating, is what I'm getting.
Renovate it.
But exactly, Chip. Take out some of the upper deck and make that all luxury
But you
seating.
could
Put those guys up there, because they're gonna have TVs and stuff anyway up there.
And I know
Renovate the upper deck part.
I know you're going to say this is an illegitimate argument in the modern age, but I don't know if you can use the history argument with the Dean Dome, because with that argument, they should have never left Carmichael. Carmichael was as good of a home court advantage as Cameron Indoor was. It was intimate. You had a student section right on top of the court, and they did lose that when they built the Dean Dome. I just think
You took your money makers and put them on the court. The people who's got giving you all the money is who you gave the room for on the court.
Yeah.
And it's not like Duke. Duke wants all of their student body down on the court, on the side, not in behind the basketball goal.
it's an auditorium. There's no room. I mean, it's intimate, but it's worked to their advantage. And I can't believe this is coming out of my mouth. It's the single best home court advantage in college basketball. And that Carolina wants that, but they're going to have to. I don't think you get rid of the building, but I think you've just got to get creative about how you're doing it. And you're going to have to go to your big time donors, Terry, to your point, and say, look, you know, you're going to need to swallow. You need to eat some crow here. You need to humble it up. We need the students down there. This needs to be a better home court advantage.
Should be.
What other basketball arena has luxury boxes like an NBA team? Does anyone else have?
I wouldn't even know.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are we talking about? Like, they're acting like there's a problem that ain't even there to me. Chip talking about the atmosphere. You can get the atmosphere like that when you only have 9,000 fans that want to attend your game.
Fair.
When you have 22,000, you have to fit some people in there. It's a lot different that way. I'll say that as far as those. They've got 4 rows of bleachers of student sections, and ESPN makes it act like there's 9 or 20,000 people, students in there, and there's like 4 rows of people.
Yeah.
That's it. There's 4 rows of people jumping up and down, Tom. This place is a madhouse.
Yeah, it's not the same
The
environment.
girls
None
play,
of them are from the South.
Chip, do the girls play all their games at Carmichael?
The home
think
games,
so.
I believe they do.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's what I'm saying,
they
yeah.
opened against Gardner Webb this year. I did the color commentary.
Well, you're going to open up the Smith Center for 42 fans.
Yeah,
They get more than 42.
They do. They got a good.
their team is pretty decent.
Sure, okay, Tom. 85, 86. I'll give it those. Maybe stretch.
I just hope the Title IX Commission does not listen to this show. That's all I hope, because they're gonna come down and open up an investigation in the whole state. Listening to this guy over here, you just say, "Yeah."
I just said facts. Like they're all opening up the Smith Center for a girls' basketball game.
Chip, look it up. How many people attended the last women's game for Chapel Hill, which was last week?
On it.
It was more than 85.
Is there a comma? Is there a comma?
There will be a comma in the answer. Yeah, there'll be a comma in the answer.
Is this the worst call in baseball, softball, sports history?
Good call.
Terry looked like the '87 World Series, didn't it?
I like it. Hey,
Is that Don Dickenshaw?
He rung him up. Look at him.
Look at it. What in the world?
I was going to break with that, but I'm sorry. I got one.
did he look at his watch after he made the call? Look at him.
We gotta
He
go.
looked at his watch. Look at it. What time is it?
We gotta go home.
I forgot about the NBA and other stuff. I thought I was ready for break for baseball. I'm sorry. I messed up there. Well, there's a funny call. That's funny. How about that one? Now, before we move over to NBA, and I do got one high school basketball thing. Did y'all see this week? The biggest show in North Carolina. Terry, have you seen it? No? Y'all don't even know what I'm talking about?
We probably don't even know.
Gosh, y'all don't watch TV or the internet, do you?
We have jobs.
Reidsville's tight end, Tom, the number 1 tight end in the nation.
Oh yeah, Tom knows all about this guy.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oh, I had his name and they don't have it on the post. Gosh, look that up real quick, Chip. Reidsville Max Preps, 6'7" tight end, or on basketball.
Okay, just his name.
Yeah. So Tuesday night, he broke the rim, broke the backboard. Wow. Up at Reidsville. Zach turned the.
You almost never see it anymore.
Hit the center.
That ended the game.
They're undefeated on the field.
Well, that ends the game in high school, right?
That's why I said I had to end the game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, unless you got a backup.
Backboard sitting around anywhere.
Yeah, that would be all right. Oh, big dunk, two-handed, brought the goal, shattered the backboard, everything. He's the number 1 tight end in the nation. Bulldogs had him this year. He took care of Chase as well. Yeah, Harrison, 6'7". And I got some pictures. Yes, sophomore just broke the glass as a sophomore. I got some.
So we've got the average attendance. It's been over 6,000 for some UNC games. Usually, though, about somewhere between 2,000 and 4,000 fans, Kevin. So more than 85 fans.
So 2,000 fans.
Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't look right in a 22,000 seat arena. But if you closed everything off and you had like 6,000 there, you know what I mean? Like you closed it all. Yeah, that would make sense. But you still got some people coming out. The 6,300 watched them play Wake Forest when they got beat. Sorry, Chip. But they yeah, 25. You know, it does have a comma in it, Kevin. It's Chapel Hill, man. I mean. I bet UNC Charlotte only gets about 600 or 700. It's, the school's not as athletic.
Does Carolina women's basketball get more fans than UNC Charlotte men's basketball?
It might
right now. It didn't used to. Charlotte used to be packed out.
Used to. Yeah.
Here's some pictures of the attempt of the dunk. A good photographer got.
Did he get a tech? For hanging on the rim?
I'm not sure. Just ripped it off the wall. Terry, is that illegal? Is that the rules?
It almost never
Does
happens.
this other team get free
but that
throws
was
if I
like an
rip the rim
80s,
off?
90s thing. And now it like never happens anymore.
Right. There's not a lot of 6'7", 250-pound guys two-handed dunking the goals.
So what are they going to do about the game?
You either go to the other place and finish it there, or they bring them back sometime later to finish it here. You know.
Well,
Okay.
it probably does. I don't know the official ruling on it. There probably is. I was letting Terry answer
Because that could be
question.
like the lights go out or something
Correct.
like, you know what
So-
I mean? Yeah.
so-
And most
so-
places do, Chip, do have two gyms.
I was about to say what Chip just asked. Would that even be an option to be able to say, hey, we can go over here and finish this or not, or do we have to come back tomorrow? Playoff games, stuff that different rules probably. Obviously, it is
Well,
how far somebody traveled and all that.
Birds has
stuff.
got an $8 million auditorium, no auxiliary gym. We can go in the auditorium and play. Maybe we set up a goal.
I was about to
in
say,
there.
put a goal in there.
Put a goal in there. I guess.
Shoot your free throw.
But a minute ago, y'all was talking about women's basketball. Iowa set a record 55,646
Because Kate and Clark.
Yep. to watch them play.
Who's that?
The
Iowa Hawkeyes.
flopper.
You know who Caitlin Clark is.
Yeah.
The flopper. The one that got
Everybody-
run over
Is
on
that
the
the
court.
flopper we did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You literally had a video of her.
I just thought of some lady flopping on.
No,
the
She's now the leading scorer in NCAA history for women's basketball.
Oh, okay.
Our apologies go out to our female audience, which is probably one.
Now, our NBA leading scorer and our college leading scorer is the flopper.
La flop over here.